the shadow of the pyramids near Cairo, the leaders of China, Britain, and the United States, united in the war against the Empire of Japan, meet face to face. Prime Minister Winston Churchill and Madam Chiang Kai-Shek, who acted as interpreter and advisor to her husband, Generalissimo Chiang. Foreign Secretary Eden and Ambassador Wynant join in the conference. For the first time in history, these great allies, through their highest-ranking political and military leaders, confer in person. Outlined here in detail are the mighty blows which will bring about Japan's unconditional surrender, and which will strip her of the vast empire gained through 50 years of terror and aggression. These pictures are from the United Nations Photographic Pool. The high commands of the United States, Great Britain, and China. Today, these men command growing numbers of troops, ships, planes. Under Churchill, Roosevelt, and Chiang, and supported by the peoples of three great nations, they will bring the Japs to their knees. From Cairo to Tehran, the capital of Iran, and great midway supply terminal to Russia, the conferences move. A Russian guard of honor hurries into position in front of Tehran's Soviet embassy. British guards, too, are at attention. Stalin and Churchill with their staffs arrive. They take part in a dramatic ceremony, the presentation of the Sword of Stalingrad, gift of King George VI to the people of Stalingrad, the hero city. A British captain brings the gleaming 4-foot blade to Churchill. The sword is received by Stalin. Deeply moved, he kisses the blade. Marshal Voroshilov, Russian commander, accepts the sword from his chief. A magnificent tribute to the Russian people who felt the withering fury of German arms at Stalingrad, and in the greatest battle of this or any other war, drove the enemy back from its streets. The sword is inspected by President Roosevelt. Colonel Elliott Roosevelt stands behind him. Winston Churchill's daughter Sarah, introduced by President Roosevelt, meets Marshal Stalin. Americans may well remember the words of the official communique from Tehran. We, the President of the United States of America, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and the Premier of the Soviet Union have met and expressed our determination that our nation shall work together in the war and in the peace that will follow. The common understanding which we have here reached guarantees that victory will be ours. We came here with hope and determination. We leave here friends, in fact, in spirit, and in purpose. Signed, Roosevelt, Stalin, Churchill. At Batio Beach, Tarawa, in the Gilberts, the first waves of U.S. Marines wade ashore, while wounded are helped out to ship-bound barges. Here, in the very first stages of invasion, the Marines have seized a tiny beachhead under withering enemy fire. These great combat pictures, made by Marine Staff Sergeant Norman Hatch, show the full fury of the violent 76-hour American assault that finally won Tarawa. Japs are fired on. In the midst of battle, an American Marine enjoys a bottle of Jap beer. A Jap pillbox ahead, its gun crew still alive. Despite furious bombardment, it must be taken by frontal attack. With rifles, flamethrowers, and grenades, the Marines close in. These are the Japs who occupied the pillbox. The Marines took few prisoners. With the initial phases of the battle over, Marines relieved from combat filed back past Colonel Johnston, the officer who trained them through many months in preparation for this bitterest battle in Marine Corps history. His and their faces tell their story. The Stars and Stripes. It goes up above Tarawa, saluted by United States Marines.